As expected, main opposition CPN-UML has flayed the government's policies and programs that was unveiled last Friday. CPN-UML chair, while pitching his voice at the parliament today, completely rejected the government blueprint, citing that an unprecedented economic recession called for special programs and policies. However, the one that the government presented was a far cry to deal with the crisis. Good evening, I'm Abhyuday Shrestha, and these are the headlines of the hour. Kathmandu District Court allows all the 12 alleged culprits in the fake Bhutanese refugee case for 3 more days in custody. Nepal police to submit the report at the government attorney tomorrow. CPN-UML chair KP Sharma Oli flatly rejects the government's policies and programs. Oli says the government should withdraw the policies and programs and rewrite. Increasing trend of people's deposit facing risk at the cooperatives in the absence of strict monitoring. The government forms a task force for course correction. And Women's Volleyball Challenge Cup kicks off from tomorrow in Kathmandu. 8 nations, including defending champions Nepal, in the fray. The Kathmandu District Court has given permission to keep in police custody all the 12 alleged culprits in the fake Bhutanese refugee case for 3 more days. It has been 58 days since the investigation started on 25th of March. As per the legal provision of keeping the arrested in custody for up to 60 days in the case of organized crime, the police requested the District Court Kathmandu to provide 3 more days of custody. Now the case has to be filed at the court through the District Government Attorney Office within 3 days. Although the police made efforts to turn in to the District Government Attorney Office the investigation report along with suggestions to file cases against a total of 32 individuals, including 16 who have been arrested and another 16 who are absconding for violating 6 different laws, they failed to do so as they didn't have enough time to prepare the files. However, the District Government Attorney Office has already taken a few files for study. The District Government Attorney Office will have to file the prosecution at the District Court by this Wednesday. The police have decided to propose to file cases for organized crime, racketeering, crime against the state, among other violations of law, against 5 individuals, including former Deputy Prime Minister Top Bahadur Raimaji, former Home Minister Balkrishna Khand, and Secretary Teknath Pandey. Discussions on the government's policies and programs for the upcoming fiscal year has started at the Parliament from today. Discussions on the policies and programs of the fiscal year 2080-81 started at the House of Representatives from today after Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal had proposed to hold discussions on them. Taking part in today's discussions, leader of the main opposition and chairperson of CPN-UML, KP Sharma Oli, suggested the government to withdraw and rewrite its policies and programs presented at the Parliament last Friday, saying that the country is passing through a difficult phase at the moment. Chairperson Oli claimed that the policies and programs presented by the government didn't have a clear target or objective. Oli also demanded for a fair investigation into the fake Bhutanese refugee scam, saying that efforts were being made to set free the guilty and frame the innocent. CPN-UML chair Oli had directed his parliamentarians yesterday to reject the policies and programs while speaking at the parliament. Meanwhile, the lawmakers of the ruling side defended the policies and programs. Prior to this, speaking during the 0 hour, parliamentarians had raised the issue of the fake Bhutanese refugee scam, problems of sugarcane farmers, among other issues. On behalf of the government, President Ramchandra Podel had presented the policies and programs for the upcoming fiscal year at the Parliament on Friday. Speaker Devraj Ghimire has informed that 20 lawmakers have registered a proposal to amend the policies and programs. The Council of Ministers has expanded in Bagmati province. Chief Minister Shalikram Jamarkatel expanded the cabinet by appointing 6 new ministers, with 4 from Nepali Congress and 2 from CPN Unified Socialist. The Office of the Chief Minister and Council of Ministers informed that from Nepali Congress, Pukar Maharjan has been given the responsibilities of the Tourism, Industries and Cooperatives Ministries, while Masina Khadka has been appointed as the Minister for Forest and Environment. Uttam Joshi has been given the responsibility to lead the Health Ministry, and Ram Krishna Chitrakar has been appointed as a minister without portfolio. Likewise, from CPN Unified Socialist, Rajendra Man Shrestha has been appointed as the Minister for Agriculture and Livestock Development, while Lakshman Lamsal has been given the responsibility to lead the Ministry of Labour, Employment and Transportation. Prior to this, from CPN Maoist Center, Shalikram Jamarkatel had been appointed the Chief Minister, Yuvraj Dulal, the Fiscal Infrastructure Development Minister, Kumari Muktan, the Minister for Social Development, and Ganga Narayan Shrestha, the Minister for Internal Affairs and Law. Likewise, from Nepali Congress, Bahadur Singh Lama had been given the responsibility of the Ministry of Financial Affairs and Planning, while Tirtha Bahadur Lama had been appointed as the Drinking Water, Energy and Irrigation Minister. There has been an increasing trend of the depositors' money facing risk at the cooperatives. With the depositors filing complaints against the cooperatives, the government has formed a task force to reform the sector. The Cooperative Monitoring Commission, led by former Justice Gaurik Bahadur Karki, had presented a report in 2014 citing that 130 cooperatives were crisis-ridden. However, the government refrained from launching any probe into these cooperatives. The scenario almost a decade later is that some of these financial institutions have stopped returning the deposits. The depositors, who had invested their lifelong savings with hopes of reaping benefits through interest, now face the risk of losing their entire money. The issue has been raised at the Parliament by some of the lawmakers. 12 cooperatives have been called as crisis-ridden by the government with an accumulated 4.25 billion rupee deposits. The Department of Cooperatives has corresponded with the government to list Gautam and Pashupati cooperatives as crisis-ridden. The government has said that it is keeping a close eye on Laliguras, Sumeru, Kantipur, Swarna Lakshmi, Biratnagar's Tulsi and Dharan's Bara cooperatives. In our Public Voice segment, today we have asked people in several provinces what should be done to halt the mismanagement seen in cooperatives. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
Public Voice.
सरकारले सहकारीहरूलाई उत्पादनशील क्षेत्रमा लगानी गर्नको लागि प्रोत्साहन गर्नुपर्दछ। सरकारले अथवा राष्ट्र बैंकले कहाँ लगानी गरेछ के गरेछ त्यो हेरदिएपर व्यतीत रोकिन्छ।
विधान भन्दा बाहिर गयो भने संस्था चाहिँ धरापमा जान्छ।
सहकारी सम्बन्धी ऐन कानुनहरूलाई चाहिँ कडाइका साथ कार्यान्वयन गर्नुपर्छ।
यिनीहरूलाई केन त सजाय दिनु पर्ला नि त।
जुन दर्ता भएका छैनन् विशेष ग्रामीण क्षेत्रका तिनीहरूलाई चाहिँ बन्द गराउनु पर्छ।
कारबाही गर्नुपर्छ। जनताहरूको पैसा फिर्ता दिलाउनु पर्यो।
एउटा यी प्रकृतिका धेरै सहकारी नबनाउने
अनुगमनै गर्नुपर्छ अनि बल्ल व्यतीत रोकिन्छ। सञ्चालक समितिहरूले अनुगमन गर्ने
पाउनु पर्ने चाहिँ आवश्यक पाउनु पर्छ पीडितले चाहिँ हैन यदि पाएन भने उहाँलाई चाहिँ कडा हुन कडा कारबाही हुनुपर्छ।
Voices were raised to felicitate Rolpa's Hari Budamagar, a double-leg amputee who set up world record by ascending Mount Everest. Lawmaker Ishwari Gharti, while addressing the 0 hour of the House, demanded special felicitation for Hari Budamagar. Lawmaker Gharti viewed that Budamagar, who is coming to the capital tomorrow after achieving the feat, should receive a grand welcome at the airport itself. Budamagar on Friday afternoon had scaled Mount Everest. He had undertaken a 5-year rigorous training to attempt that feat. Budamagar is the first double-legged amputee to scale Mount Everest. A former British Gorkha soldier, Budamagar had lost both of his legs in a Taliban ambush in Afghanistan. It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. But before that, let's take a look at the results from yesterday's poll. Yesterday, we had asked you, why has the government that speaks of good governance and transparency kept cabinet decisions secret? 71% voted for A, ill intention, 12% voted for B, breaching right to information, and 17% voted for C, normal process. And here's today's question. Here's today's question. What should the government do to safeguard home industries? Your options are A, use domestic produce, B, grant in raw materials, and C, industry-friendly policies. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And it's time now for the international update. Leaders of the world's richest democracies said they would not back down from supporting Ukraine in a warning to Russian President Vladimir Putin, as he claimed to have taken the eastern city of Bakhmut, something Kiev denied. The Group of Seven G7 summit in the Japanese city of Hiroshima was electrified this weekend by the arrival of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who arrived on a French government plane to canvass for greater support against Russia's invasion. During the final day of the three-day G7 summit, U.S. President Joe Biden announced a $375 million package of military aid, including artillery and armored vehicles for Ukraine. He told Zelensky the United States was doing all it could to strengthen Ukraine's defense against Russia. Other leaders of the G7, the United States, Japan, Germany, Britain, France, Italy, and Canada echoed Biden's sentiments. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau promised that his country would support Ukraine for as long and as much as necessary. Biden told G7 leaders Washington supports joint allied training programs for Ukrainian pilots on F-16's warplanes, although Kiev has not won commitments for delivery of the fighter jets. Both Scholz and French President Emmanuel Macron appeared to stand with Ukraine in opposing any nation of the war becoming a frozen conflict or any proposal for peace talks without Russian troops withdrawing. It's time now for the sports news.
Sports news.
Nepal is all set to host the KAVA Women's Challenge Cup volleyball tournament beginning from tomorrow in the capital's Dasrat Stadium covered hall. Defending champions Nepal go into the tournament aiming a hat-trick of the championship. Nepal kick off their campaigning with a match against Kyrgyzstan. Captain of Nepali team Aruna Shahi informed that the host nation has prepared well for the championship. Speaking at the trophy unveiling program today, Shahi expressed confidence that Team Nepal has prepared well, keeping the tournament win in mind. Nepal had won the previous two editions that were held in Bangladesh and are aiming for the hat-trick of the championship. Nepal kick off their campaign with a match against Kyrgyzstan. The tournament will be telecast live by Kantipur TV HD and Kantipur Cineplex. Defending champions Machindra Football Club blanked NRT 2-0 to climb to the second spot of the Martyrs Memorial A-Division League table. In the match played at the Chasal ground in Lalitpur today, Olawale Afiz opened the scoring for Machindra in the 30th minute, scoring from inside the D-box after receiving a header pass from Vijay Bhujel. This was Olawale's 14th goal in 15 matches this season. Saurav Limbu scored in injury time through a header to seal Machindra's 2-0 victory over NRT. With the win, Machindra have solidified their chances of winning the title. Machindra have climbed to the second spot of the points table, securing 34 points from 20 matches. Meanwhile, NRT are in the 9th position, just 2 points above the relegation zone. In another A-Division League match played today, Manang Marshangdi Club and Armed Police Force settled for a 2-2 draw. Likewise, in another match, Jaulikal Youth Club and Sankata Club shared points, also registering a 2-2 draw. And it's time now for the weather update. That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Good night.